We are live.
Hello and welcome to the Common Sense SEO Show number 16. Welcome. Glad to have you here. If you are here, if you're not watching on a replay, that is anyway. I'm sat here sort of rather warm because the sun's decided to come streaming through the window just on cue. And of course, I've got to have the windows closed, otherwise you can hear all the kids in the neighborhood screaming whatever the kids scream these days. So here we go. Anyway, that's my excuses. Let's get the show underway. And Henrik, hello.
Hello, guys. And the normal housekeeping rules. Can anybody see and hear us? And put a comment in the chat box so we know that we are live. There's a delay here, so I'll keep up just for a second. But I think we are okay, so
we're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when we started way back in January, we said that we was going to work our way through the standard setup from, first thinking of a site, working through the keyword research, working through schema, onto on page, then towards off page, and all the different SEO tactics, that we utilize in our business as SEO people. And of course, here we are sort of 4 months later or whatever, and we're sort of still struggling to get to one page because there's so much to cover in every other aspect of SEO before you even get to building the site. So, I mean, if anybody's building the site along with us, then I'm sorry about that because you've still got a way before publication. But, these are important things. And it's also, as we spend our days looking around the groups and interacting with people in Skype conversations, we see different topics popping up, and obviously topics where people are either seeking clarification or looking for, or getting it wrong. In fact, sometimes people that hear these rumors, they hear these beliefs, and they just follow blindly, as it were, down the road of guru SEO. So what we wanted to do was just wheel back a little bit and wait for the gasp for breath where I say we're going back into looking at keywords again. Yeah, only just for today, but I think it's only for today. But we just want to roll back a bit and just cover something about keywords because we just got this little feeling that something's still not quite complete about the keyword discussion. If we ever can be complete in any SEO discussion, of course. So keywords it is, and in this case, it's about competitor research. Now, I was chatting with Henrik earlier on and was talking around this concept. And one of the things that I've noticed is that if you hang around in like the pop group, let's say, for example, excellent group, amazing group. And while I'm talking about pop, let's also give the forum pop Skype group, which is good. If you're a little bit advanced, it's great to get in there, great support, everything else, and watching their podcast. And also, while I'm talking about podcasts, I'll give a shout out to SEO This Week, which is another great podcast to listen to by Clint. So there you go. I've given a praise where praise is due, and I'll get back to keywords now. So if you're hanging around in the pop group where Ted and Kyle and Clint are most of the time, the other day people are talking about how best to use Page Optimizer Pro. And again, we strongly recommend you do use Page Optimizer Pro. But people are talking about using it, and they sort of start the conversation by saying, I want to rank for this. And when I run Page Optimizer Pro, obviously, blah, blah, blah. There's a little bit of a flaw in that thinking is what I'm sort of seeing. It's because there's one conversation that went, I want to rank for SEO services in Houston or wherever. It doesn't matter where. SEO services for Houston. And if we pop those pages, it's easy to get to position 1. Well, yeah, yes, it is. And that's perfectly valid. But I started scratching my head and thinking, is that quite right? Is that sort of approach? Are people choosing the right keywords in the first instance? I went and started looking around myself. I went onto Google this afternoon or this morning, looking at SEO services, and I picked a place in England that I knew didn't exist in America. So I didn't start getting American results or anything. And I looked at it and I thought, so I started off with SEO services, and then it came up with SEO company, SEO agency, I don't know, social media, web designer, all these different things in the people also search for, the suggestions down the bottom. I started looking. Then I started digging a bit deeper. So I took it back out to SEO company. I looked for that to see if I could get SEO services to pop up, but it didn't. And then so I just went to SEO in, I think it was West Bromwich I used. So I did SEO in West Bromwich. And again, SEO services didn't appear on the landscape at all. So you've got to think that, is SEO services, apart from using it as a sort of a calling card and saying, look, I rank #1 for SEO services, so therefore I know what I'm doing. Apart from that purpose, is it actually any good for customer attraction? Are we actually, when we first start off with our websites, are we really doing the proper keyword research to find the keyword phrases that we need to, that people are looking for? And when we go in and say, okay, so I want to rank for SEO services, if that's what you choose to do, then, okay, you go into Page Optimizer Pro and it pulls in the top 10 competitors for you, which I think it does that for you now, actually. I don't think you have to go and find them yourself. So it brings in a list of your top 10. You tick the ones you want on the new version. I'm sure that's how it happens. I haven't actually played with the new version yet. So you are going to pop against the competition for that keyword phrase. But is that keyword phrase actually of any benefit to you? Is it actually, surely, of course, you're going to see the competitors, but is that really telling you what those competitors, the keywords that they're ranking for? Just because they're showing up for SEO services doesn't mean to say they're optimized around that term. It doesn't mean to say they're the key terms that those people are going after. And if you see a successful SEO agency above you in that list and you think, well, I want to knock them off, doesn't it make more sense to actually think, hang on a minute, are they really searching for us? Are they really trying to optimize around SEO services? Or am I wasting my time popping this page when really those people are going to be looking for something else and pulling in customers using other terms? Okay, so I'm hoping people can follow that. So the next thing is okay, if we're getting it wrong in the first place, if we're making assumptions, I'll just clarify that, because then when you start looking around and you start looking down to where, if you use keywords everywhere, I think it's called, the Chrome extension, it comes up and it tells you if the search results, the average search result for the month, it tells you the value, and the cost per click and the return on investment and those sorts of figures. And then the other thing about this is when you start looking, you also see that certain terms are clustered together. And I know Carl mentioned clustering, keyword clustering the other day, but they are clustered together, and you'll sort of spot, as soon as you looked at 2 or 3 pages, you start spotting that, hang on a minute, SEO agency and SEO company both have got 390 searches a month in West Bromwich. Okay. But then this other one here, there's 2 of these here, they've got 70 a month. And then you look at another search and something else pops up again with 390 keywords a month. And then something pops up with 320. Now, why are they the same? Does it happen that 390 people have actually searched for SEO agency and 390 people have actually searched for SEO company? I doubt it. It's looking like these are clusters. So the fact is that you could also then spend your time wasting your time ranking for both of those terms, whereas potentially only one of those terms would get you the same result, would bring you the ranking for both of those. You could you could boost, optimize around one of those phrases, and you'll be turning up for 2. So you see what I'm trying to get to now is we're trying to, by looking at Google and understanding what's on that page, you can actually open up a much more better keyword blueprint for your site build than just by going down a wild sort of rabbit hole thinking that SEO services is what I need to rank for, because no matter what however you pop it, or however much keyword, or however much page 1 research you do, that will take you further and further down that same rabbit hole, but it might not be the one you should be going down. So let's move over to Henrik at this moment, because I've waffled on long enough. I'm hoping I've made myself clear there. I'm sure Henrik will make it much clearer with his much more technical and professional demonstration of what I've just lathered on about. So, Henrik, how would you like to clarify that?
We had the other day a discussion. I think you brought it up in one of the groups. Are people searching for local SEO? Are they searching for local marketing? Are they searching for being seen in Google, or how does I get in Google? I think that there's a lot of different phrases, and you should definitely try to source whatever is possible and see what the numbers are telling you in regard to searches. And just to give you a good example, last year I went into a niche which is in the financial niche, the mortgage industry, and the vocabulary that I thought was what was being searched for was actually okay, but it's appeared that a lot of different searches were related to another term for the same thing. So where I was focusing on, for instance, mortgage broker, I could have focused on home loan brokers or home loan mortgage brokers. And it was not until I digged into one of the competition and saw all the different terms that they were ranking for or trying to rank for, and the searches in relation to that. So one had to conduct a proper keyword analysis. And one of the ways to do it is, of course, to dig into, you have a high profile ranking site for your seed keyword, and then look into what is this competitor ranking for. And if you can look at the keywords that he's ranking for, if you can take the site structure that he's using it to rank for that, then you're on a good way to position yourself on at least on the same level. And then you pop using Cora, and then you actually say, okay, I have to fine tune here and there, and then you'll have a good chance to rank better than those that you're comparing yourself to. Is that also your opinion, Tony? That was some of the things that we were talking about, that we have to dig into whatever one or two or three of your competitors are doing, and then suck those keyword out.
Absolutely, because I'm guilty of it myself in the past, where I tend to sort of build or start the keyword research around my own beliefs, whereas of course my beliefs are one thing and somebody else's is something else. And yeah, for sure, if you need to sort of understand that the person that you're following, you need to understand that they're relatively successful, in their own business as well. I mean, that definitely helps. Excuse me. But definitely, absolutely, if you can work out what your keyword, your competitors are actually chasing, where they see the money is, then surely by beating them at that game, that is going to be more beneficial than beating them at a game they aren't even playing. So yes, absolutely.
Okay, let me just show you a little spreadsheet I've taken here. So let's share the screen. Can you see my screen now out there? Just give me a yes if you can. Okay, so you're seeing a spreadsheet here, and this sheet is actually an example of one of the competitors that I was digging into when I was looking into the mortgage industry. And what we have done here is we have taken all the keywords that they are ranking for. I have sorted them where I have taken the competitive density and I have color coded from 0 to 25. As you can see here, that's green. And that's, let's say, the missing opportunities which the competitor, in this instance, AssuranceHome.com, has not been focusing on. Or this is actually where the low-hanging fruit are in terms of some of the keywords. Then I have medium competitiveness here, and I have the difficult ones down here, which is in red. So if we take a look at the search volume, you can see here in this column, in column J, up here, let's give you that there's a few. This one, credit assurance, there's a little bit of activity. Cost per thousand calculator, there's a lot of activity there. And then there's a good one here with a reasonable competition ratio, which is called interest-only loan calculator, which has 4,400 search per month. So that's definitely something I could go after. You can also see the URL structure, which it has here, and you will out here see the organic search results, i.e. the competing pages. There's quite a lot of competing pages. But if you silo your site properly, you should be able to actually rank for these keywords here.
And you could, Henrik, you could actually take those competitor keyword URLs over there and drop them into POP as well, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's one of the that should be one of your processes that actually go in, take that and pop that into POP or whatever you run the core report, take that into consideration. So what I've done more, I have taken all questions which were relating to this term or to the site. So here is what has been some of the questions that you could use to support that keyword or some of the keywords. That is, what does FHA stand for? That's one of them, 1,900 searches. What is FHA? 3,600 searches. What is an FHA loan? 18,100 searches. And you can see if you take a supporting article to your main keyword term, which may be if it's a mortgage broker or if it's a mortgage lender, then it could be one of the supporting articles to that category page that you're trying to rank. So, and also I've taken out the how questions, how do I get a home renovation loan, etc., where I color coded them as well as in terms of the competitiveness. So the one like there, how much do a mortgage lender lend? It's an easy peasy keyword, or should be. How much home can you qualify for? How much of a mortgage can I afford, etc. It's 201 searches and 248 searches a month. So these are the things that you can use actually to support your own silo structure for your own site. And that is what we have been digging into in terms of competitor analysis. And what we will be doing is that we will be offering you out there to get these reports if you like. I'll drop a link to a page where you can sign up for a report on your competitors. So what you have to do is to give us a domain which you want to analyze, and we will dig into it and we'll deliver those reports to you so you can take a look at what your competition is doing. Tony, any comments?
Yeah, I mean, I will just mention that this is a paid service. I will mention that, because before hundreds of people fly over there to book and then get disappointed when they get there, there is a fee. Obviously, these are advanced reports, and it's sort of bringing the whole idea of these reports is that it's bringing everything to you. The sort of things that I've sort of said, we could go down whatever route we want, but unless we know what these competitors, the successful competitors, are actually going after, then we're probably starting off on the wrong foot, as it were. Whereas with these reports, we're absolutely nailing everything that those competitors. I mean, it's not just looking at the homepage. This is looking at the entire site, okay? And it's digging in to exactly what keywords, what phrases, what questions and answers, all are pulled from within their website, all the key phrases they are ranking for. Then, of course, we can work out, like Henrik just said then, whether the competitiveness, we can list them or rank them in order of priority, in order of ease of going after. Because the thing is also, you don't necessarily want to be going out and ranking for mortgage broker. Well, you might, but it doesn't make much sense to necessarily try and rank directly for mortgage broker right out of the gate. If this is a new site, you know, it makes sense to look down here and go after the easy competition, the low competition phrases, and start building there first, picking up this long tail traffic. You know that you can beat your competitor out on these terms because you've got all the statistics there. You've got the URLs there, so you can drop it into POP. You can absolutely optimize. Even before you've built the page, you can drop them into POP, pull out a report. You can see exactly what you need on that page to build and take them out of the game, the more successful competitor. And then you go down to the next one and the next one, and the next one. All this information is here for you. Now, honestly, genuinely, if you were to go and search for all of this level of information, you might end up going down the wrong rabbit hole and coming up with misleading information. Or at the very best, this is going to take several hours. What do you suggest on that, Henrik? How long will it take to collate this sort of information of an entire competitor's site?
It depends on the let's say the niche you're in to get, you know, you can take one competitor site and it might be quite easy to digest that, but you have, of course, all the different tools available where you can go and use those tools. But the problem is that you have to dig between different tools to get the just stop sharing my screen here.
Okay. So
the different tools that you have is, of course, something like Average Explorer. You have Bus, what is it called? BuzzSumo? No, not BuzzSumo. SumoBus, I think it's called, where you also can dig in. You have SpyFu, etc. All these, you have to go into all these in order to dig into the nuts and bolts of your competitors. And here you can just drop a URL, and you will get the information right at hand for you to start picking up.
And what's the turnaround time on that? Just out of curiosity.
No, that could take 4, 5, 6 hours to do properly.
I mean, for us to, and then how long will it take us to get their reports back to them if they went through our service?
we will, depending on the volume that we have, we will be able to give them within a day.
Yeah, yeah. So the idea here is, if you've got an agency and you need this information, or if you're building out a money site and you need this information, sometimes it's better just to offload. Nobody should be an expert. Nobody should try to be an expert at everything. Well, they can try, but you always say it's always better if you focus in on your area of expertise. If your area of expertise is not keyword research, then this sort of avenue makes sense, because you can go in, you can have this being done while you go off and do other things. You can do content gathering, you can do whatever, and it's much more efficient use of time. It's like me in business. I understand accounts fully, but I don't want to do my accounts. You have an accountant to do that. There's other things that I understand fully. I understand about stacking and things, but I don't want to do it myself. That's why we have a team to do those things for us. It's all about offloading wherever you can, because your time is far better spent doing optimal things that either you're have a preference for doing, or you'll make more money back in return. So that's what we're saying. So the service is there. It's entirely up to everybody's choice whether they see the value in that or not. The other things that I did mention just back then as well was about if you're not currently using tools on your browser for getting these little snippets of information as well, like I do suggest you probably download Keywords Everywhere. I think every SEO should have that on as an extension on their Google Chrome. I have the Moz bar there for, I don't know really. I don't know why I have it there, but I have it there anyway. And I think there's a SERP one as well in there that SERP works. I think a lot of people use that as well. But so any of those plugins that give you this information, it also gives you good ideas, and it also opens up the search. So when you're actually looking at a search, if you do decide to go down the route of doing this yourself, if you are looking at Google page one and trying to decipher it, it's amazing how differently you see that information if you've got, if you've got that Keywords Everywhere running, because down the bottom you've got the analysis, the cost and the analysis and the search volumes for all that people also search for, or suggested searches. Go further down your Google search down the bottom, and they analyze all the keywords for you down there, again with the search volume and the cost per click and the return on investment and so on and so forth. That's a free plugin, that is, by the way. That's not going to give you what we've just talked about, but I mean, it does open up your thinking. It does, because the other thing is if we go back to what I talked about at the start of the program, which was SEO services, you might think, well, this is going to nail it. I'm going to get every person in my town phoning me up for SEO services. And when in reality, probably the only people searching for SEO services are other SEO services. But when you find these terms and think this is what I want, you can go down and you can see, because it puts a price against them. And it'll sort of say, hang on a minute, this has got a search volume of 0, it's got a cost per click of 0, and it's got a return of investment of 0. And you suddenly think, well, hang on a minute, then why on earth am I even bothering with this? Because that might look like a good keyword phrase to you, but as soon as you see all them zeros lined up against it, then you've got to question why, whether it is really a good term to go after. So what we're saying here, and I'll pass back to Henrik in a minute, what we're saying here is cut out the guesswork and even cut out the intelligent guesswork where you've got this extra information. What we're going to do is deliver the absolute information that your competitors are using to stay above you, and then you can cut straight to the chase. You can take out the keywords that you absolutely need to be focusing on to drive the money and the clients' leads to your site. I think that's probably time to hand back over to Henrik, because it's time to go nearly. How quick was that?
We should ask those guys watching now, how long are they using on average on competitors' keywords research? How long does it take out there? Any idea? By the way, Adrian is saying that the keywords area is an excellent automation free tool.
It is. I came to it rather late in the game myself, but I love it. I absolutely love it now. Yeah, even if you're not looking for keywords at that moment, you just pick up that bit of information to store away, don't you, for use at a later date. Going, oh, I remember that keyword was good. I know that. Hey, I'm sounding sad now, aren't I? If I'm storing spare keywords in my mind, then I think I need a day off.
Yeah, presumably take a week off.
Yeah, and a couch. Yeah, lay down on a leather couch. There we go. Has anybody come back with any other?
No, they seem that either they're not doing competitors' keyword analysis, or they're just dumb.
Oh well, there we go. Well, we're up to the half an hour though, so forever hold thy peace. If you've got any questions, you can drop them in the chat. We would appreciate you following us everywhere and anywhere. Go into the Skype group, follow us, like us, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, I definitely look forward to seeing you next week. I can't quite think what we're talking about off the top of my head next week, but we'll have something interesting, hopefully, nonetheless. Henrik.
Yeah, I'm just replying to comment by Dave saying that it depends. I use a mixture of tools to research, from SEMrush to Ahrefs, Google Trends, which you should, Keyword Everywhere, so, and even Neil Patel's too.
Answer the public.
Yeah, but going to all these places take quite an awful lot of time, and whilst you should be working on your business, not in your business, then maybe it's worth an investment just to pull out a report, give you everything from keywords to questions to silos suggestions. So anyway, it was nice to have you here on the show today. Like, share, as you said, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll be back next week. So see you then. Bye-bye, guys.
Yeah, goodbye.